What's going on, everybody, and welcome to Tuesday Morning Tokes. I'm your host, Drew, coming from San Diego, California. Thank you for stopping by, tuning in, checking out the channel. Make sure to like, share, subscribe, hit up all the links down below. And now we can get into the episode. It is November 10th, 2020. It is a little bit of a late start for me. It is around 8:20 in the morning. And you are tuned in to the best Tuesday morning wake and bake show. So welcome in. Let's get started. I have a few articles that I kind of wanted to go over. A lot has kind of happened within this last week, but also at the same time, a lot hasn't happened in this week. So we'll go over some things regarding cannabis news. It was a big deal for election day in cannabis, so we'll get into some of that. And before we get started with anything, let's just take a snap. I already had some ground up from last week, so that was still here. And clean glass, clean bong, all of that. So let's get into it. Let's get right into it. I had a little bit of a rough morning. Just some personal stuff going on, and I don't need to smoke, but now that I'm out of sober October, it's like this came at the perfect day. So let's get into it. Some sort of OG here. I don't remember exactly what it was. Oh yeah, got my glasses on because I got like some sort of infection in my eye. Don't want smoke really bothering it or anything like that, so hopefully it gets cleared up soon. I got some eye drops that'll kind of help it. Got them last night, and hopefully this morning felt a lot better, so fingers crossed that it kind of clears up the eye infection. But anyways, let's get into this snap. Cheers, everybody, and good morning. Alright, so let's talk about it. Last week, man, my first time smoking on camera again in quite a long time. It was very interesting, I will say that. Initially when I took the break, I thought, I wasn't sure how I was going to be able to get through my regular podcast. I usually use smoking as kind of a break, as a transition, and, I kind of used it that way for my regular podcast and stuff, and, I wasn't sure how I was going to be able to do without smoking for an entire month, if I would run out of steam, if I would, not know what to talk about or whatever, but I realized pretty quickly that, I don't need to smoke to just be able to talk. So I have been getting through my regular podcast no problem. I didn't do an episode yesterday just due to personal issues going on. Hopefully I will get to another one on Friday. I'm not sure if me and Zach are going to be doing an episode on Thursday or not, but that should be the plan anyway. But anyway, last week, smoking for the first time on camera again, it was really weird, man. I felt like everything was taking a really long time. That's why I didn't get through all the articles. I felt like I'm just rambling on and not even getting anywhere, but I realized it was one of my shorter episodes at the end of it. It was only like 35 minutes or something like that. So that was pretty funny. And then at the end, I kind of got pretty self-aware, and I saw myself in the camera, and I started tripping out. I was like, oh my God, this is weird. But yeah, so now this is my second time smoking again on camera and everything like that. So we'll see how it goes. We'll see what happens and the progress. And, if I start to kind of get in my head like that again, we shall see. It was really interesting, though. Like, I noticed it. I took like 3 snaps last week, and man, I was just really high. And, yeah, it got to me, man. It really did get to me. It was really interesting. But shout out to Black Rifle Coffee Company here. This is the Murdered Out. And just drinking it straight black right now. Don't have any milk or anything like that, but that coffee's so good you don't even need any almond milk or anything like that, any sugar. You don't need it. I like my coffee sweet like that, but if it's good tasting coffee, you don't need all that additional stuff. So shout out to Black Rifle Coffee Company, man. I would love a sponsorship, that's for sure. Drink it every morning now that we get that subscription. But anyway, let's have another little snap and then get into some of these articles that we will be talking about. Man, didn't I say last week would be really interesting given the election and all that? I don't know, man. I don't know what's going on. All I know is we still don't have a president, and everything with the media is just projected and it's not official. The Electoral College hasn't made the announcement or anything like that. They haven't voted on it. Trump has not conceded. So technically there is no president at the moment. Well, Donald Trump is still the president until I believe January 20th, when the next president will be sworn in, whether that's him or Joe Biden. But there's a lot of court stuff going on, and a lot of lawsuits and potential fraud, and I don't know, man. It could get a little crazy. I know a lot of the left got super excited and happy that Joe Biden was named president by the media, even though they have no authority to do so. It comes down to the Electoral College, and if these lawsuits happen, then it'll kind of go to the Supreme Court. So it's not over yet, and we shall see what happens. It should get really interesting. I've been paying attention to a lot of it, but it's constant. There's so much news to be watched, and man, it's pretty interesting. During the election coverage, I was watching like NBC, ABC, CBS, just trying to catch up on some live stream of the election results. And then I was like, I'm so sick of this mainstream stuff. And then I just happened to click on Newsmax. Never heard of it before. But they were doing like live election results as well. And immediately I was like, oh, damn, this is a conservative news station. Like straight up, just they have no hidden agenda behind that they are conservative or anything like that. It was pretty refreshing, honestly, because at least they were upfront about it, but at the same time they were just giving straight facts, and just that's what I like, is just the straight facts about the situation going on. There's still one of the only major news outlets that have not called the presidential race due to the things that I stated. Things being under lawsuit, recounts potentially happening, and things like that. So they're honest, and that's the truth of it, That is the truth of it. And I've been reading now that Newsmax is taking over like Fox, because a lot of people are like leaving Fox because they called Arizona like super early, and that's still, I believe, being counted. Maybe not now, but man, like it's just funny, man, because it was like just right on there, and I was, like I said, I wasn't searching for it. I had no idea who it was. I just clicked on it. It said live stream election results, so I clicked on it, and now I've been seeing a lot of hype about them because they've been just keeping it real, just keeping it honest, and a lot of conservatives are switching over to that channel instead of Fox because of how Fox handled everything. So It's pretty interesting. I just thought that was pretty funny because, like I said, I had never heard of this channel before. It just happened to be live streaming election results. I went through all the mainstream stuff and I was like, this is ridiculous. Was watching some Joe Rogan, was watching some Steven Crowder, and yeah, then I also was watching some Newsmax. So shout out to Newsmax, man. They were pretty good. They were pretty good. And now I've been keeping up to date with them like every day. Like I said, I'll switch up what I'm watching just to get different points of views and things. But man, they seem to be like having the same people on that the mainstream people are having on. And as far as guests who are being interviewed, but it seems like they give them a more fair shake or something. I don't know. I just like how they do it. But yeah, it's interesting stuff going on. That is for sure. Just remember, everything is saying projected President Joe Biden, and it's not official. There's nothing official yet, so keep that in mind. Cheers. Damn, went on a whole little political rant there. Been holding it in, that's for sure. Well, that's not true. I haven't been holding it in. I've been talking to everybody about this but nobody really cares. Nobody really cares about the truth. And that's what's frustrating. So it's like, I just talk about it. But people still say, oh, there's no evidence of this. Anyway, it's crazy. It's crazy out there. We have truly a divided nation. And something that's being less divided on is cannabis. So this is from the Daily Mail. Record-breaking 68% of Americans now support legalizing marijuana as 4 states, including South Dakota, New Jersey, Arizona, and Montana, approve recreational use, according to new poll. So that is cool stuff right there. Let's get into it. It says the findings from a new Gallup report showed that marijuana use and sales has drummed up more support this year than the last 5 decades. Gallup's first poll happened in 1969 and found that only 12% of Americans championed marijuana. The support had more than doubled by 1977, landing at 28%, but did not surpass 30% until 2000. That's pretty crazy. That's a long time. Last year, just 66% of surveyed Americans backed legalization. The latest poll was administered from September 30th to October 15th, more than 2 weeks before voters in New Jersey, Arizona, Montana, and South Dakota voted to legalize recreational use. More than 2.2 million, or 66.9% of residents in New Jersey voted for recreational use, while 1.1 million, or 33.1%, those numbers are really interesting to me. 33.1% decided against it. State lawmakers have taken the first steps in crafting a bill that would outline what cannabis sales would look like. As it stands, individuals must be age 21 or older to purchase or possess as much as an ounce of marijuana. Dispensaries have been approved across the state, but local regions could ban them. It's just like what we have going on here. Impending Cannabis Regulatory Commission would oversee New Jersey's industry. The effective date is January 1st, 2021, but it could take longer for retail stores to open depending on how long officials take to defining sales provisions. Similar results happened in Arizona with 60% of marijuana-friendly voters, while in 57% of voters in Montana made the same call. Montana can start recreational use, possession, and growth on January 1st, 2021. Recreational sales will not begin until January 22. Damn, okay. Arizonans will get a jump start on November 30th because their local constitution ruled the law could go into effect as soon as election results are made official. That's pretty awesome. South Dakota legalized recreational marijuana at a 54% and medical use at a 70%. After laws are formalized, marijuana will be legal in the state, state starting July 1st, 2021. Mississippians, although they did not approve recreational marijuana, voted to pass medical marijuana this election. Hey, taking steps in the right direction. At least it's a first start, first step for it. Meanwhile, Oregon became the first state to decriminalize possession of all drugs, including heroin and cocaine. Now, that is what I'm talking about. I saw a meme or some tweet going around saying, while while the country was voting on the president, Oregon was voting for drugs. And I just thought that was pretty funny. But I'm all about that. That's freedom, man. That's freedom right there. And that's a way to do it, is just decriminalize it. That's what it was, right? Yeah, decriminalizing it. So you don't get in trouble for using drugs, man. Like, I 100% agree with that. I don't know much about the politics up in Oregon. We've seen some crazy stuff happen over the summer. A lot of the riots, and I believe that's kind of where Chaz or Chop was. And, I'm not about that whole movement, but as far as this is concerned, I'm all about that. Let's continue. Under the new measures, instead of going to trial and facing possible jail time, a person found with hard drugs in their possession would have the option of paying a $100 fine or attending new addiction recovery centers. Cool. That's fine. I mean, you shouldn't even be getting a fine. There should be those opportunities for help in those addiction recovery centers, though. Yeah, I like that, but I don't even understand why. Okay, I guess that's all right. It's a first step, Again, they're doing things that are taking steps in a positive direction, in my point of view, as far as freedom is concerned. The centers would be funded by millions of dollars of tax revenue from the legalized regulated marijuana industry in the state that was the county's first to decriminalize marijuana possession. The new law will go into effect in February. Okay, see, now that's where I'm not okay with it, is using tax dollars, and especially from the cannabis industry. But hey, they're doing what they're doing, I guess. All right. Although the Trump administration has not taken a firm stance on marijuana laws, President-elect Joe Biden has said he would decriminalize but not legalize the use of marijuana, while expunging all prior cannabis use convictions and ending jail time for hard drug use alone. And that's what's funny, because he's the one who was super hard on criminals, and all the crime bills had Joe Biden's name on it, and he wanted people to stay in jail for a long time for crimes just like this. So I kind of find him a hypocrite, but whatever. I mean, if that's gonna happen, great, but I don't believe so. According to the Gallup poll, which surveyed 1,035 adults, responses also broke down legal marijuana support by cohort groups. Just under 69% of men and 66% of women backed legalization, while the largest drum of support came from people aged 18 to 29. College graduates came in at 76%, while 64% non-college graduates agreed. Notably, households with income of $100,000 or more would check the box for legalization. Those making less than $40,000 a year declined at 67%. That's really interesting. Gallup reported that groups who push back against the measures usually consist of Republicans, conservatives, and those who attend church every week. A staggering 83% of Democrats voted for open cannabis laws, but 52% of Republicans vetoed the idea. Similar numbers ranked across political ideology, with 87% of liberals approving the measure and only 49% of conservatives. Weekly churchgoers were nearly split, but 52% of the group was against new provisions. Those who attended less often were placed at 79%. The trajectory of public support for the legalization of marijuana has coincided with an increasing number of states approving it. Gallup wrote in its report, it's not entirely clear whether the shift in public opinion has caused a change in many state laws or vice versa. Given recent trends, more states are likely to legalize recreational marijuana in the future. And that is about it. States are sending a clear message to the federal government that their constituents want to see cannabis legalization. We are moving toward a critical mass of states that will bring about the end of federal prohibition on cannabis. It's getting there. It is getting there for sure, and it seems like more and more states are open to at least medical. Getting in Mississippi there, they didn't legalize it, but they passed medical, so that's good. Get that going in the first step. So a lot of good stuff in that article there. What was the next one? Damn ads, come on. All right, this is from Forbes. It says, could projected president, I'm adding, Joe Biden legalize marijuana? Not really, and the marijuana industry doesn't want him to try. Barring some more unforeseen, highly unlikely development, Joe Biden will be sworn in as the next president on January 20th. For at least the first half of his term, he is almost certain to oversee a split government with Republicans still in control of the U.S. Senate as well as the Supreme Court. And as the COVID-19 pandemic spirals further out of control every day as Donald Trump refuses to concede or even acknowledge the election result, as he should, and as profound concerns about the nature and future of our democracy remain, the question is being asked, can a President Biden legalize marijuana all by himself without Congress? The short answer, as the legal scholars have said many times over the past decades, is yes, or well, sort of. The president can make cannabis less illegal with many caveats. The academic ambiguity aside, a better question to ask might be, will Joe Biden use political capital to decide an issue that he has not embraced, that the courts have repeatedly ruled in Congress's business anyway? Framed this way, the answer is almost certainly no. President Joe Biden will not legalize marijuana. Sorry. And that is exactly what the marijuana industry wants to hear. The legalization by fiat options available to any American president would create more problems than it would solve. First, legal scholars seem to mostly agree that the president can use the power of the executive branch to reschedule cannabis. The Controlled Substance Act currently classifies marijuana as a Schedule I drug, more addictive than heroin, less medical value than cocaine, no medical value, a high potential for abuse, and illegal in all circumstances. You will notice this hasn't stopped states from legalizing cannabis, nor has it stopped recreational marijuana from growing into a multi-billion-dollar industry. We talk about that scheduling of cannabis for almost every episode and how that needs to change and how that needs to be the first step for everything. Getting better with cannabis, to being able to study it and do proper studies here and just not fill up jails and prisons for these types of offenses, because this is personal freedom, man, just like I was talking about with Oregon. So as Sam Kamen, the Vincent Sederberg Professor of Marijuana Law and Policy, okay, there was something off with that sentence there. In policy, the University of Denver's Sturm College of Law wrote in 2016 article, the president can unilaterally reschedule cannabis, but the president cannot deschedule. What's that mean? Since the Drug Enforcement Administration is part of the U.S. Department of Justice and part of the executive branch, the president can instruct the Attorney General to reclassify cannabis into a different category of controlled substances. Moving cannabis into a Schedule 3 or Schedule 4 would solve at least one of the marijuana industry's problems. IRS Section 280E forbids the seller of illegal drugs from claiming certain business expenses on their taxes. This prohibition has crippled some businesses and shrunk the margins of almost everyone else. But rescheduling alone would almost certainly not allow cannabis businesses to use banks, and particularly not if they continue to violate the Controlled Substance Act in any way, which is what all dispensaries in all states would be doing if President Biden rescheduled weed. All drugs in Controlled Substance Act that can be bought and sold are done so with DEA licenses with doctors' prescriptions. No recreational drug that is legal, tobacco, alcohol, are distributed in this way. And generally understood then that rescheduling weed would blow up with marijuana industry's existing model of state licensed businesses that are not pharmacies selling cannabis products, that are not Food and Drug Administration reviewed and approved to customers who are not medical patients. Biden rescheduling cannabis would only continue the state-federal conflict and force both state regulators and businesses to completely reconfigure themselves, putting many people out of business and costing states significant time and money, as Morgan Fox, chief spokesperson for the National Cannabis Industry Association, said in an email on Monday. So what's the difference between rescheduling and descheduling, and why can't the president do it? For the same reason why the president can't pass laws or a budget or make a war, at least not forever, without Congress. Rescheduling cannabis and making other points of law by executive action is not within the powers of the office. Descheduling is legalizing marijuana for real, removing it from the federal government's lists of banned or controlled substances entirely. This would not prohibit the federal government from making laws restricting who can buy or sell the stuff, or in what quantity. A quick review of what the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms does is a good reminder of this. But this is what's understood as necessary for the cannabis industry's dream situation. Interstate trade, institutional investors, advertising, the works. And the president cannot do this. Cannabis prohibition has been challenged in the courts before, and while federal courts have given cannabis businesses some relief, a 2015 ruling in California, for example, affirmed that the federal government can't shut down state legal medical cannabis dispensaries. Courts have also refused to address the scheduling issue. Most recently, in October, the Supreme Court declined to hear an appeal in Washington versus Barr, a petition challenging cannabis's Schedule I classification that lower courts has also shot down. Advocates have taken this time to mean that the courts believe rescheduling in Congress's job. Quote, it's Congress that imposed the federal prohibition of marijuana, and ultimately it is up to Congress to repeal their destructive and discriminatory policy, as Keith Strout, Normal's legal counsel, said at this time. There's also there's also the open question of whether President Biden would expend political capital, testing the power of his office and the appetite of Senator Majority Leader Mitch McConnell's Senate to swallow it by legalizing cannabis rather than addressing the COVID-19 pandemic or the novel coronavirus's economic destruction. Legally questionable, politically impractical. No, Joe Biden won't use the power of the executive branch to legalize cannabis. He could encourage more research. He could issue pardons or commutations, and could tell the Veterans Administration to ease up on restrictions creating problems for the military veterans seeking cannabis. But to legalize, Congress must act, and for now, It's still a Congress controlled by some of the same lawmakers who have reliably blocked legalization. They may change, but it won't be President Joe Biden who does it. So that's interesting stuff. It's like, that is interesting. It's like he can't do as much as we thought, but also at the same time, it would be probably better that he doesn't legalize it like that, just because it would probably cause more restrictions, and like I said, it'd cause more people to shut down, and it'd do more harm than good. So it's interesting. Let's get into this last snap, and I got one more article. Shouldn't take long. Then I will get on out of here. All right. It's crazy stuff going on in the world right now, man. It is crazy stuff. So we just gotta smoke weed. All right. Again, shout out to Black Rifle Coffee. Black Rifle Coffee Company. All right, this is a local here in San Diego area from NBC 7 San Diego, NBC San Diego. First cannabis business since Measure Q passed opens in Chula Vista. Grasshopper delivery. I remember hearing about this just not too long, maybe a week ago or so. Something about grasshopper delivery. I saw it somewhere. Anyway, grasshopper delivery, the first commercial cannabis business since voters in Chula Vista approved Measure Q in 2018, opened on Friday. Okay, here we go. Measure Q authorizes commercial cannabis retail delivery, testing, cultivation, and manufacturing in the city. There we go. A total of 12 cannabis retail operations are allowed in Chula Vista. Each council district may have a maximum of 3 retail locations, to include 2 storefront locations or a combination of a storefront and delivery operations, not to exceed 3 per council district. Quote, we welcome grasshopper delivery to the city of Chula Vista, said Mayor Mary Casillas Salas. Since voters approved commercial cannabis operations in 2018, we have been working to establish a quality program that attracts businesses like Grasshopper that are committed to running top-notch operations in our community. Grasshopper Delivery is Chula Vista's owned and operated. It uses low-emission vehicles for delivery. The delivery service will be contactless, and employees will follow enhanced delivery guidelines, a company statement said, including increased cleaning and sanitizing measures of vehicles and gear, the use of personal protective equipment, social distancing, and daily health screenings. Damn, that's crazy. We recognize the need for access to licensed legal cannabis in the city of Chula Vista and look forward to seeing South County communities, said Grasshopper founding president Andres Camberos. Grasshopper Delivery is proud to be the first commercial cannabis operation to open in Chula Vista. We have hired local staff and are dedicated to providing funding to support cultural arts and other programs. Grasshopper is constructing a brick-and-mortar retail dispensary, which is planned to open in Chula Vista by spring 2021. Very cool. Shout out to Grasshopper Delivery right now, and looks like they are ready to expand and looking to do so as well, but damn, they take some strict measures. Everybody just falls in line with these mandates and guidelines and stuff like that. It's really frustrating, and it makes it difficult, especially for me, because I need a job, I need to do something, I need to make some income, I don't know what to do. But yeah, I don't really believe in that. Like, that's super invasive, and not gonna wear a mask, and yeah, so it makes it a little difficult. I don't know. Got to do something. Got to figure it out. Don't know exactly what to do, but you know, it is what it is. But that was all I had for today. Got nice and high again. Gotta go take care of my eye. See what's going on with that. I just was hoping that the smoke didn't get into it. Feels a little irritated right now, but you know, oh well, gotta deal with it. Yeah, I should be back on Friday for another episode of the Real Word Podcast. We will see if we do an episode on Thursday of the No World Order Podcast IG Live. And I should be back next Tuesday for another episode of this Tuesday Morning Tokes. Till next time, everybody. Peace.